Hi, everyone. My name is Terry Rockaway, and today it is my honor to serve as Mark Hehir's voice for his presentation. We're really happy to have Mark here with us today live. And as Andrea said, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Mark, just go ahead and type them into the Zoom Q&A function, and he will be answering those. So with that, let's get started with Mark's slides. Accessibility. Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Hehir. And today I am speaking about accessibility and how it applies to recreation areas like parks, open space preserves, and trails. For 25 years, I've been visiting many of the recreation areas in the Bay Area. This has given me the experience and understanding of what a recreation area should have for equal access. Part 1. Accessibility refers to the degree to which a recreation area is accessible to people with disabilities, as well as others such as senior citizens. There are no activity limitations, and all visitors are able to enjoy and participate equally. For recreation areas to be fully accessible, they should follow the federal guidelines. This ensures that the same standards are used in the United States. The 2010 ADA Standards for Accessibility Design and the 2015 ABA Architectural Barriers Act, which also includes the standards for outdoor developed areas. ADA covers restrooms and accessible parking, and ABA covers trails, picnic tables, benches, grills, and drinking fountains. The Yagas Creek Loop Trail at Rancho Cañada del Oro Open Space Preserve is a great example of a recreation area that is accessible for everyone. It has accessible parking, restroom, picnic tables, and trail. Accessible parking. Every parking lot should have at least one van accessible parking spot so that there's enough room for a wheelchair user to exit a van that has a ramp. A van accessible parking access aisle has to be 96 inches wide. Accessible restrooms. An accessible restroom needs grab bars for wheelchairs to transfer. Any dispensers like a toilet seat protector should be 44 inches high. Toilet paper rolls should be within reach of the toilet, and there should be enough floor space for a wheelchair user to turn around 365 degrees. Picnic table. This is a perfect example of an accessible picnic table. It has easy access for a wheelchair user. It's on flat and even ground, and concrete is best for ground surface as it is easy for anyone using a mobility device to travel on. Accessible trail. The width of a trail should be a minimum of 36 inches wide and be maintained for the entire distance of the trail. Trails can be either paved or dirt, as long as they're firm and stable and no obstacles higher than 2 inches. Part 2. The following slides show accessibility problems that I have encountered at some recreation areas, the first being no access. It is important to have at least one van accessible parking spot. A vehicle accessible parking spot aisle is only 60 inches wide, which is too narrow for a wheelchair van that has a ramp. If the white vehicle on the right had been larger, I wouldn't have been able to enter my van. A common problem that I have seen over the years is a soap dispenser mounted too high and out of reach for someone in a wheelchair. The picture on the left shows one that is not accessible. The picture on the right is. It is essential to have a safe access route to a trail that does not pass behind vehicles. The driver of the black vehicle on my right would have trouble seeing me. Examples of when an accessible trail is not maintained. My power chair became stuck here, and I needed help from passing hikers to get my chair onto the flat ground with the picture on the left. On the right, this accessible trail has overgrown foliage, and the trail became too narrow for me to continue on my hike. A park bench needs at least 36 inches of space next to it for a wheelchair or other mobility devices like a walker. The picture on the left is not accessible. The picture on the right is. Picnic tables should be on firm, stable, and flat ground to provide easy and safe access for mobility devices like a wheelchair, walker, or cane. The picture on the left is not accessible. The picture on the right is. Part 3. Having equal access to a recreation area goes hand in hand with having equal access to nature. If a park isn't fully accessible, then nature isn't accessible. Connecting with nature should be a stress-free experience. A person shouldn't have to worry about if a restroom is accessible or if there is accessible parking. Why is it important to be able to connect with nature? There have been several studies that have shown the health benefits of nature. The calming effect of nature reduces blood pressure and heart rate. It reduces stress and anxiety. It improves physical and mental health. And it encourages people to exercise. It supports social cohesion. Accessible recreation areas plus connecting to nature equals healthy and thriving communities. Closing remarks. Accessibility is a part of my everyday life, as it is for millions of Americans. As a community, it is our responsibility to provide equal access and inclusion to our recreation areas and nature. By doing so, we are also inherently providing ways to maintain and protect our natural resources for future generations. Thank you. Special thanks to Terry Rogway for being my voice for this presentation.